this is a story I feel very, very passionate about, but actually reveals so much about the modern US economy, about credit card debt, about what the incentives are for major financial institutions. Let's go and put this up there on the screen. So the budgeting app Mint, which I personally have been using since 2010,
wow,
is now shutting down and pushing its users towards Credit Karma. So let me explain a little bit. Mint is obviously one of the first personal finance budgeting apps. It was a revolution at the time. It was one of the premier parts of having the smartphone right around the same time as Uber. It had people have real-time access to their exact financial picture in terms of their assets, their liabilities, what the worth was, the updating transactions. You could set goals. You could see how far you were going. It was one of the best things that actually happened for a lot of people in terms of getting control of their financial picture. And it has now and is currently being used by millions of Americans. We don't know exactly the total number. But now, Mint was bought in 2009 by Intuit. If you don't know what Intuit is, it's TurboTax, QuickBooks, who else do they have? Credit Karma. They have all these different companies that are under their umbrella. And just like TurboTax, what they have learned by shutting down Mint and by bolstering their Credit Karma business is that the best way to make money is not helping people be on a budget or even selling their personal financial data. It's to put you even more debt. And that is why it's so pernicious here, Krystal. They are moving people from Mint to Credit Karma. Credit Karma will not provide you the same budgeting features, like being able to set goals and save towards different things and look at your categories. It will only give you your overall net worth picture or whatever. Now, put this up there, please, because when you dig a little bit deeper into how they make any money, it all makes sense. Credit Karma has a revenue of $1.6 billion whenever you dig into it and its finances. That's actually down 9% over the year. Do you want to know where that $1.6 billion came from? It's from looking at your credit score and from those pictures, and then ruthlessly pushing you to sign up for for new credit cards and for personal loans, and sending stuff to your house, being like, hey, you've pre-qualified for this ridiculous personal loan. Just fill out this thing. Oh, turns out, the interest rate's like 98% or something else ridiculous. And that's how they make their money, by putting you even more debt. So the net effect of this for Intuit is they are killing one of the first genuinely innovative and best budgeting tools in the United States, and instead switching you over to a system to sell you more personal loans, put you into more credit card debt.
Yeah.
It's mind-boggling, but it does just show you that's how they make money. They don't make money when you're doing well. People who are on a budget are going to be less likely to get into debt. So what do? We take away their ability to budget, and you put them into even more debt. It's diabolical, like whenever you see how it is, but it's just so naked. It's one of the most naked things I've ever seen, because so many millions of people rely on this app. Like I said, including me. I've been using it since I was in college. I found it so helpful. And so when I saw the news that it was shutting down, I was like, I can't believe this, especially when I saw that they're just pushing people more to Credit Karma, which I remember signing up for Credit Karma in like 2010. Yeah, just to get a real-time picture of your credit score. That's not what they do now. Now they're just everybody's just trying to sell you a loan. Yeah. It's like, can anybody just help you keep track of how much money you are spending? No, they don't want you to do that. That's the gross part of this decision.
Because, debt is really how they sort of keep people in line. They even say, I haven't used any of these services, so I wasn't really familiar with them, but on Credit Karma's website, the way they describe is they say, Intuit's Credit Karma uses your credit profile to show you curated recommendations.
That's what I'm saying.
What does that mean? That means we're going to try to, we're going to use your credit score and give you some tips on how to improve it so that we can send you even more loans, so we can try to get you in even more debt and be able to, make sure we can turn a profit off of that. So yeah, it makes all the sense in the world. This is also the company, as you mentioned, Intuit. They're the ones that do TurboTax, which has been we've done coverage of this before. The way that they They, violated government regulations about how they were supposed to go about doing this. It's just, they've completely scammed so many consumers to the point that now actually some of this money that's being fought over, how Republicans want to use $14 billion to take that away from the IRS to give to Israel, in spite of the fact that that actually would increase the debt more, because the more money you give for IRS agents, you actually get a return on investments for wealthy tax filers, etc. Anyway, putting that aside, some of that money was supposed to be going towards developing a free tax filing system, something that Intuit is, of course, wildly against, and to spend all kinds of money on lobbyists to try to guarantee that this never comes to pass. So they are wrongdoers in so many senses of the word. But you're right, this is just completely naked. And, to go kind of bigger picture, like debt has been weaponized throughout history to force sort of like compliance on people. I'll give you a couple of examples. One example is back when we were talking about student loan debt relief, you actually had some people in the military coming out and saying, you can't do this because we're going to lose one of our biggest recruitment tools. If people don't have student loan debt anymore, how are we going to get anybody to join the military? So you can see the way that it, compels a certain direction of a life there. Right now, you have reportedly Israel using Egypt's debt with the World Bank to say, hey, if you take in all these hundreds of thousands of refugees from Gaza, maybe you get some of your debt forgiven. That is not even the first time that we have used Egypt's debt to try to force their compliance and their acquiescence to our foreign policy, which we did, I think, in the initial Gulf War back in the 90s as well.
True.
So in any case, debt on an individual level, on a state level, a company level, whatever, is very powerful and very often weaponized, and this is very clearly nefarious.
Yeah, the book recommendation, I read it years ago. It's called Debt. I just looked up the title, The First 5,000 Years by a guy named David Graeber. It's kind of a modern it's a different take on the way the evolution of money and finance, how it actually wasn't, for commerce, it was actually debt-related purposes, and that was it includes some of the first writings of Sumerian texts. People keep asking me, they're like, what should I use? By the way, I don't know. So I've compiled a list. There are 4, it appears, recommendations that have been given to me. One is the EveryDollar app. That one's Dave Ramsey's. One is You Need a Budget. I think it's called YNAB. One is like Monarch Money. And then the other one was Rocket Money. So those are the 4 that were recommended. But, the issue with basically all of them have pluses and minuses. Some are premium products, as in you have to pay for it. That was one of the things about Mint, is it was free. I mean, nothing is technically free, but some of them, to unlock quote unquote premium features or whatever, you have to pay an annual subscription fee. Some of them are connected to other multi-billion-dollar conglomerates and are basically making money the exact same way. It just happens to also let you do budgeting. But that's part of the issue. In every one of these cases, there's a plus and a minus. And for everyone being like, just use an Excel spreadsheet, they don't real-time update, okay? That's the issue.
It's a pain in the ass.
Yeah, it's a pain. Yeah, you want to
that ain't happening.
Look, it's as easy as it is to do Apple Pay and to pay for stuff, to go into debt, it should be that easy to make sure you're not going into debt. That's what I think we all should be looking for. So I know a lot of people out there are struggling, especially, with this Mint thing, because it was an integral part of my life for a lot of people, just in their day-to-day. So to get it ripped away and just look at you and to just look so starkly into why exactly this is happening is just, it hurts.
These
it
companies
hurts.
are evil.
They are.
Hey guys, if you like that video, go to breakingpoints.com, become a premium subscriber, and help us build the best independent media organization on the planet.
That's right. We're subscriber funded. We're building something new. We want to replace these failing mainstream media organizations.
So again, to subscribe, it's breakingpoints.com.